the Kashmiri Pandit Exodus 2.0 as we're calling it. There are videos of Kashmiri Pandits leaving. They are being stopped by the police in Anantnag. Now this, remember, is an after effect of the attacks, the targeted attacks on Kashmiri Pandits, on Hindus in the Kashmir Valley. And there have been several protests with the Kashmiri Pandit community out on the streets begging and pleading for a safe passage back to Jammu. They are being held in camps, locked, not allowed to leave. They are asking who is going to protect us if you're not allowing us to leave. This, remember, after we're reporting on the second killing in Budgam in just the last 3 days. So Kashmiri Pandits there in those videos being stopped from leaving Kashmir. They are being stopped by the police in Anantnag. At many places, they've started to pack up and leave for Jammu. On Tuesday, the Jammu and Kashmir administration had confined Kashmiri Pandits, like I said, to transit camps after members of the Kashmiri Pandit community threatened mass migration in the wake of these targeted killings. 4,000 Kashmiri Pandits employed under the Prime Minister's special package had threatened to leave the valley if the administration did not relocate them to a safer place within 24 hours. A large section of the Pandit community has stopped going to work, some in protest and some just out of fear. This is the big story that we are tracking. And while, of course, we continue to track all of these details of what's happening in the valley, remember, parallelly, there is a high-level meeting between National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and the Union Home Minister Amit Shah that has taken place in North Block. Joining us with all the details are Nazir Masoodi and Neeta Sharma. They're, of course, covering all aspects of this story. Nazir, before I come to you, I just want to quickly get in an update from Neeta. Neeta, this is a crucial meeting that has taken place at a time when the situation in the valley continues to remain volatile. What more can you tell us?
Yes, Rishika, it was an important meeting. It lasted about 1.5 hours. The National Security Advisor was also accompanied by Secretary Raw, Mr. Samant Goel, and they met, both of them met the Union Home Minister. And the topic of discussion was obviously Kashmir. You know, we have seen so many targeted killings in last 1 month itself. As many as 5 killings were reported last month. In fact, the Home Ministry figures, you know, spell it out that there were 14 encounters, 27 killings had taken place, and of the 27 militants killed, only in May, 20 of them were locals, and that's what's the biggest worry of the security establishment. The kind of recruitment, the kind of fresh recruitments which we are seeing in various tanzeem across valley, and also many people are going underground. They are saying last month only as many as 30-40 people have gone underground, and their family members are also not coming forward and reporting that these people have gone missing. So it's a very big serious concern. There's another important meeting tomorrow which is listed for tomorrow afternoon, which the Union Home Minister is going to chair. In that meeting, the Lieutenant Governor, Mr. Manoj Sinha, is also going to participate. Another aspect which is going to be discussed is the forthcoming Amarnath Yatra. The Yatra is going to start from 30th June and it will go on till August 11th. Security establishment officers who deal with such issues, they say the kind of inputs that they are getting about Yatra are humongous. As many as 2 months before the Yatra only, the inputs started, penetrating. They started filtering in as to, and obviously TRF, which is an offshoot of Lashkar-e-Taiba, they have taken a claim that they killed the employee, the bank employee today also, and even for the Yatra, they have threatened whosoever comes, they will target those people also, including the Yatris. So obviously there's a huge amount of concern in the security paraphernalia even as far as the Yatra is concerned.
Neeta, while of course there are several questions that need to be asked of the establishment at the moment, let's just go across to Nazir to get a sense of what really is happening at ground zero. Nazir, the Kashmiri Pandit exodus is something that is coming in at a time when there's been a series of shootouts. Most recently, you're reporting on this bank manager who was killed in yet another targeted attack in Kulgam. And this is the second attack that you're reporting on in just a matter of the last 3 days. What is the situation on the ground? I mean, there are shocking pictures that you're sending us of Pandit community members being locked up literally physically constrained and not allowed to leave for Jammu. They are protesting, demanding a safe passage, but it doesn't appear that anybody is listening to them.
Well, as far as people trying to go to Jammu, government has to take all the precautions given the situation we live in these days. And in the wake of series of target attacks which were premeditated, which were clearly the people because of who they are, the Hindus, Kashmiri Pandits or the Dogra from Jammu or a bank manager from Rajasthan today. He had recently joined in Kulgam in the Ilakai Dehati Bank, and you can see the whole, shooting was caught on camera, gunmen getting inside the bank shooting and then managing to flee. He may be killed, the gunman may be killed maybe in a day or two or who knows when or caught. But will that actually prevent those attacks? There has been a huge failure to prevent these target attacks and which has really made Kashmiri Pandits vulnerable. They have been, protesting for the last 3 weeks. Let me talk to more about with Mohit Ban, who is a spokesman of PDP and Kashmiri Pandit himself. Tell us why it has reached to this tipping point. We haven't seen attacks on Pandits or anybody for 17 years, from 2003 to 2020 to 18.
Look, Nazir, what I believe is that, to address any situation, you first have to agree to one thing, that there is a problem which exists. So if you don't acknowledge that the problem exists, you will not be able to find the solution.
What is the problem?
And unfortunately, on 5th of August 2019, any problem pertaining to the Kashmir, issue ceased to be exist. The country has been lied. The international community has
We have moved on. Now the
so
people
much.
are getting killed. Let's talk on that.
See, it's absolute failure of the security. It is the administration who should be held responsible for all this. They said that, okay, 370 is the, deterrent to peace and, it is holding everything, the country, it is holding the country hostile for everything. So now the entire police, administration, security, everything is in your hand. Why is it happening? So
let's
to answer it.
Okay, fine. I understand that what you are saying, but the point is now Kashmiri Pandits, they are trying to leave now to go to Jammu. Migration, it is kind of a second migration for the Pandits in last 30 years. Tell me, are you in touch with your people in the camps? Otherwise, what are they planning? What is going to happen? What should government do?
There is a sense of shock amongst the PM package employees. Government has been trying to reassure them we will take care of securities, but in past 20 days, this is the third attack. It began with Rahul Bhatt in past 20 days, moved to Rajniwala, to today Vijay Kumar in Rajasthan. So all these assurances are falling flat on the government's face.
But government has said they can put them in the secure location within the valley.
Secure location, so it is like putting them in jail. So what is the secure location? They will have.
So
to
what do you
out.
say? What do you suggest? Should they go to Jammu?
I think at the moment, the government must allow them. They cannot make them sitting ducks. They cannot make them scapegoats to satisfy their own ego. That everything is normal. Tourist is coming. Nothing is happening. They have to take the blame for this exodus, the second exodus, which is happening in past 30 years, and they should allow them. You cannot hold them ransom just to show a picture of normalcy. That is not done.
Thank you very much, Mohit Ban. So saying they should be allowed, that is a reality. What they have been saying, only solution is relocation, life first, then livelihood. These people return here as part of the Prime Minister's package.
But Yes, Nazir, do stay on with us because Neeta is still live with us, and like I said, Neeta has been tracking the details of that very important meeting that has taken place to take stock of this situation. Neeta, what exactly is the thinking within the security establishment? Do they have a plan of action in place? Because enhancing security for the Pandit community essentially has meant confining them, locking them up in transit camps. Or are they just going to allow them to leave? What is the thinking? What are they going to do about these demands and these protests that have now spilled on the streets for the last 3 weeks?
Actually, there is no clear answer to this, Rishika. As far even as the establishment is concerned, when you talk to them unofficially, they say such killings started taking place way back in 2021 in October itself. Now the things are obviously escalating. Because of the Amarnath Yatra, things will further escalate in coming months. But as far as the security of these Pandits or these minority communities is concerned, the LG spoke to them. They said you will be transferred to these conclaves, the security conclaves. That's the idea, to put them in some kind of a conclave where these people are, as you are mentioning, they are confined, but there is no other alternative, because if they come out on the streets, they are easy target. Even as far as the policemen are concerned, the security personnel are concerned, they have also been asked not to move around on their own on the streets. So that is the kind of fear as far as Kashmir Valley is concerned, and this will further escalate as you know, the yatra comes nearer. This fear and this challenge is going to further escalate.
Well, so no clarity as far as what the government's plan of action is. I mean, is relegating them to transit camps for the government going to do? Because that's clearly something that is being met with a lot of resistance. There are those fresh pictures, Neeta, that we've been playing out on our screens of people actually just packing their bags, and despite all of the security advisories asking them not to venture out on their own, they're pretty much left to their own devices to protect their security. So several questions need to be asked of the security establishment on what they are going to do about these targeted killings and what they're going to do to guarantee protection to the communities that are being targeted. Thanks very much, Neeta and Nazir, for joining us with the very latest.